Okay, so thank you very much for joining us today, Nikola Sucevic. Is it correct?
Yes,
I'm pronouncing it?
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay, so maybe we can start a little with you introducing yourself a little bit, so that the viewers, the attendees, can know a little about yourself.
Hello, Rainer. And basically, I'm a telecom data analytics engineer for last 20 something years. My background comes from the physics and being teaching assistant on the electronics and physics. I spent about 10 years in Ericsson developing 4G and building the data science and data analytics engines for geolocation, leading different groups. Last couple of last 10 years, I've spent on the road, basically building the geo from 0 to 200 million, leading data analytics in that exciting time as an expat. And then last 4 years, I've been building another telecom company, a little bit smaller, but using the same methodology, analytics, data science, and so on.
Okay, okay. So like we talked about, we're talking about data analytics here. So can you like explain a little bit what is data analytics? So because like probably some people would get confused with data analytics and then data analysis. So can
Mhm.
you give us a little about that?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so yeah, sometimes we say data analysis paralysis. That's too much analyzing without actionable data and
Right, right,
actionable outsides. It leads probably to just a long projects without result.
right,
So
right.
maybe today I will show you how do you actually do in the backend. How do you
Mhm.
create all these action points and plans and create the projects? Maybe
Okay,
sometimes not even visible to everybody except to advanced data analytics or data scientists. That
right.
actually there is a kind of matrix board where you can plan the future,
Mhm.
pre-calculate and plan your basically every
Okay.
little detail and so on.
Mhm.
So before that, I would just say that it plays a tremendous role nowadays because
Mhm.
as you see the world of the digitalization and world of planning new
Right,
products, uh, it's actually a little bit like a casino where there is a lot of yes, sure, because there is a lot of winners
right, right,
they might be lucky, but nobody can repeat what they did,
right.
and there is a lot more losers,
Mhm.
and the only one that is always winning is actually casino owners. And
Right.
casino owners, if they have the access to the actual mathematics behind
Mhm.
launching a digital product, they are not acting like a big stars. They are very silent, but actually
Right.
they always win, and they actually profit tremendously from the digitalization. So those companies that are having idea that the world of big winners that are just behaving like a gurus nowadays and being lucky once and then unlucky three times,
Mhm.
that world is very hard to follow. But there is a
Right.
actually mathematical world because
Mhm.
the telecom and digitalization is exact science, and scientific methods exist
Right.
to guarantee that you are always on the right side.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, so that's basically the core of the message is that we can we can build the strategy for next year, for next 2 years, of the fast growth with the low churn, with the high quality of services, uh, deploying it on the places where it's the best place to deploy. So I can actually go and show now this how I put
Yes,
like
yes.
quickly,
Yeah.
uh, and
Yes.
then we can go to other questions.
Right.
Let me okay. So I will quickly share the screen. I hope you can see it here.
Yes. Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay. So this is a digital journey planning board. This is something that mostly you sit with the people that know the market, they know the structure, they know how much money is invested, they know all this kind of stuff. But what they are always seeing is this static boards of static view, customer distributions, customer tenures, and so on. So this is something that is taboo, and this is actually what we will call data analysis. It's a static view. It's something that this is a classic reporting view. Then when you go to advanced analytics, you put all the predictability into all of this, and then dynamic view means things start moving, and as you are starting your campaigns and you are ending your campaigns, you're following every and each user on every day. On the day 1, you have your distribution. On the day 50, so this is a starting point. Red is your turn. So you see you have a journey. So you're catching the journey of the customers. How many active? How many are coming, going back? How many good customers are there? How many of them we have improved the experience? How many we retain? And that's predicted by the analyzing the data and building the models. You predict how this is gonna enroll in the future, and then basically you try to influence it with your investments. So this is here, like you can imagine, this is your journey. This is your digital journey. Your company, it can be a product, it can be anything. And then now what you can do, you can first set up the starting point, like where you are, how many customers you have, and how much you want to grow. So let's say you are here, your initial journey, your initial churn rate is like this. So let's say, and so let's say you're starting here on the day 1 with the 6 million customers, and you are ending up with 9 million. So you want to grow to 30% in the next year. So this is something very realistic. Your churn is very high in the beginning, and then you want to end up here. So what you did here is basically, these are your starting points. This is already setups. So what you can influence is the customer. It's so-called customer number of customers that you're going to improve the experience. So this is all connected to investments. So this is the green area. This is all that you are retaining because your customers are improving the experience. This is the part where you are investing into retention campaigns, as many, and you can see how this influences depending on the money that you're investing. But this is a very high level still, because here you're playing with the people that have a wish. So now it comes to the money. So this all projects, okay, I can do all of that if I have all the money in the world, or if I'm rich like Ambani's. Maybe we used only this part here. You see, this part, I have a wishes, I invest so much, I see how much it costs per day, blah blah blah. I have that money, no problem. How much am I going to spend? Well, for the middle size, they are very patient, very scared to go with the big investments, thinking like, I would like to target, I would like to spend as least as possible for the bigger results. That's where the biggest savings are coming from, the data analytics, targeting, acquisition. For, let's say, who do we acquire? Who do we play acquisition on? So you can see here. Just a little bit here. Okay, so who do we play the acquisition on here, for example? Days. Let's look. This part is the optimizing cost per user acquisition. It all projects in the actual cost. So let's say, okay, acquisition likelihood. This is what is analytics. Well, let's go and see through all our data who are the most likely to acquire. Looking the days on the current network. So if you want to acquire somebody from other operator, we look how long he's been on the network, and we see that acquisition likelihood is going down the longer he was on the network there. So we start targeting mostly those people that are longer on the network or the shorter on the network, and you see that our price of acquisition goes down. The same way, location targeting, in which area we are targeting, these are all pre-calculated, built from the models, where you actually look like what is the likelihood or per device or per competitor and so on. So they all have their targeting and then you can adjust and increase or decrease the price of the, if you are concentrating on a specific group of mobile phones and so on. It can be
Right.
very generic. This is a concept, so it doesn't have to be a mobile phone. It can be if you are selling the cars, you are looking for the acquiring the customer for your car, and then you're looking at it. Here could be the age, or the education or so on. But acquisition, you are targeting, and here it's very important. Analytics brings that. How does that projects in the money saving? Because then your cost per acquisition will be lower. Then you want to retain. This is the second part that also goes in the background. Then
Yes.
this is where the data analytics is playing and saying, okay, I want to retain, and I want to see the age, gender. What is my likelihood of retaining somebody? Which should I concentrate the most, and so on. You adjust all of this, so it is inside your costs, and you want to have a very good net score, or it's like you want to have a very good experience. So you are taking care about 4G download speed. You see, depends how your speed is in the network.
Right.
It's the likelihood that somebody will leave the network. So you are improving that also to reach the better score and so on. So these are the things that comes into churn, and churn automatically projects here in the saving in the capex and opex. And then you look at locally, then you can see locally where you are. Basically, this part here, what is actually doing is you go in the ground and you are looking what is the population density, what is the expenditure for specific product, like for the mobile phones, for whatever they are buying. And you are trying to put your outlets or your base stations or your anything that you have on the ground on the places where there is the best combination for your average site revenue to be the highest. This is where you are taking out the money from the land. So data science is calculating based on all the experience from the whole land, what is going to be in the specific land, So this is the kind of and then you can basically, by calculating this kind of stuff, you can estimate the average site revenue. So let me see if I, for example, okay. You can see that there is a specific mobile expenditure for the specific area. It doesn't matter which one it is, and this is anyway. This is the data is scrambled, so it's not the real data here. And the thing is that any specific region, any specific area can be modeled. So model can be on top of the, like here we chose the imaginary operator. It has a 6 million and wants to grow to 9 million in next. But if you go like in 1 hour, you can build the whole plan for the growth together with the costs and everything pre-calculated. So this is where the analytics comes. It makes much more confidence to the people planning the network nowadays. There is no gambling. Actually, you feel you are not gambling. You feel you're playing chess. You're winning. And this is the whole idea of having analytical teams to makes you not following some lucky losers that will crash your company in the future. And, so that's where analytics comes, but not as I said, not a lot of times data analysis ends up in paralysis. Everything gets paralyzed and and nothing is happening. So these are when you don't have actionable points, if there is no action, so everything is still and nothing is moving. So this is the idea of data analytics in the background. Maybe I will go back and stop sharing now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think we can go to another question. If you think this is not answering completely, then I can elaborate more.
Well, actually, maybe we can expand to that. Like you said, data analytics shows you how you can plan ahead for your marketing campaigns and everything like that.
Mm.
So right now, as we're talking about digitalization, we're talking about here digital marketing. So how do you think data analytics can really improve the marketing efficiency in this era of digital marketing?
Yeah. So you see, I think this was the one of the examples where you do the targeting, right? Targeting,
Right.
that. But it's not only about the targeting. I think I finished the elaborate, very important thing, targeting when you're retaining, when you are upselling, when you are giving the cashback bonuses, when you're doing whatever you're doing, you need to target. Not only to save the money, but actually to save the amount of communications over any channel. You cannot go and overuse your channels for marketing. You cannot use. It's better to send one message a week than 10 messages per day. Then it would be more efficient. So targeting is very important, but brand is also very important, because static brands sometimes they have in their brain that they are targeting specific audience, but actual product befits more to a different type of audience. So you have to constantly look who are your best customers, and your brand should be adjusted, and then it has to be fine adjusted. It's not only the age, it's not only the gender. There is a cross things that you have to think about. Let's say we are looking at the areas and we know that people are liking our products and they're young and they're happy and they're jumping and but we know that they're young, so we create this young in our imagination. What means young means like a lot of colors, a lot of time, like parking and so on. And then we realize, yeah, we are actually having young, but in same area, it's mostly the kids. So then you have to think, it's a young people with a very small kids. So it's a young people with family are actually the one that are staying the most. So those actually that are young, they are actually just using our product for a couple of weeks and then they're using another one and so on. But the perception is like, if you build a brand only for those people that are switching the products, you will never target this big group, because you have this kind of vision of how the young people are looking like. This is just an example, but these things are not obvious without the analytics. So that's where it's very important to use the analytics. So this is and then social media and all this type of analytics. Nowadays, it's kind of, there is so many little companies that are providing different dashboards, but if you don't connect this to your own data, you will never understand how your customers, what is their footprint in the social media. So this is where the cross data connection in the marketing is very, very important. And then third one is using external data. So there is a lot of data availability. I cannot go into this in this point, but this is another big story. How much data is really available in digital world for marketers to understand the customers that are gonna join, or to understand their behavior. And it's not even so expensive, and it's all this data is actually available with the user consent, because a lot of apps are collecting with the user consent nowadays. So and analytics is on the market. So every marketer should be aware of that. If you don't understand your digital picture of the world where you are working, it's like blindly you are thinking you're, maybe you look different to the people around.
Right. Okay, so you mentioned about gathering data from external data. Like, how do you like choose which kind of data, especially external data, would be useful for your campaign or your product? Like, how can you like sort out which one can be used and which one cannot be used, or is forbidden to be used, like that?
Forbidden. Yeah. So basically, all the data that has a user content
Mm-hmm.
and all data that has um, so-called customer consent,
Mm-hmm.
which is given depends of the way how the data is gathered, can be
Mm-hmm.
used either as a given as the summarized data, like things like Facebook and others, they
Right.
cooperate in that way. They don't give per user. And if they are
Mm-hmm.
giving per user, then basically it comes with the user consent that he was shopping something there, and they have
Mm-hmm.
pressed I agree that this will be used for giving me a better offer in the future. So this type of
Right.
data, but this is not the only challenge, because
Mm-hmm.
generally there is no data flowing that somebody is collecting secretly. It's even
Yeah. Yeah.
impossible, because most of the data goes to the Google, and
Right.
Google is actually the main one maintaining the IDs, this advertisement ID. And
Mm-hmm.
generally, as long as you can go through the Google, you are basically connected to the Google policies and so on. Even nowadays, there is so-called this cookie apocalypse, where the Google is
Right.
changing
Right.
the way of collecting the data. And yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
things will change, but the one thing will not change. When you are thinking about connecting the data, there should be a point where the data connects, because
Mm-hmm.
if you have a mobile number and somebody has an email, you cannot connect these two type of data, because
Mm-hmm.
most of the time you don't know. So then you have to understand your customers' other numbers, where it's like the most used one is the advertising ID. And if you
Right.
can collect these two, like a mobile phone number and advertising ID, then you are on the very good road to collect the data. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a technical discussion. It's understanding quite deep into the data flow. And again, it ends up in a talks with very small group of the people that really understands. But since I've been building this tracing systems for Ericsson and Huawei for almost 12 years, I've been leading the teams that build those kind of systems for collecting the data in the internet. One of the first, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
deployed in Los Angeles, and I spent a
Ah.
lot of time in America. Uh,
Uh-huh.
even some parts of those system on Ericsson were sold to FBI, and Huawei probably have his own way how they are using it. So you really have to understand how the information is traveling, and this is
Right.
in very low and deep levels. This kind of signaling, where I've
Mm-hmm.
seen today people call themselves engineers, and they're talking about the layer 3, but there is like a layer 1, where sometimes information can be packed in these empty bits in the end that are used
Right.
for that.
Right.
So there is a whole world in this area. A very
Uh-huh.
small group of the people knows.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it doesn't have to go so deep. Generally, it's enough and this is something that can go into long discussions when you're building the products. That's something that is
Mm-hmm.
big and going to be used on a large scale. But just for somebody who is advertising, he just have to make sure that somebody who is offering him enhancement of the data, they
Mm-hmm.
can give it as the API. You will ask them, this is the ID of my customer. What else you know about him, and how much cost that per click?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's you have to pay, of course, because this guy is probably paying to somebody else to aggregate this data and so on. So
Uh,
there is a market that works like that. A lot of these things, some things are disappearing, like Google cookies in the moment and so on. But then
right.
coming some
Mm-hmm.
new. I mean, the amount of camera now going out and AI trying to figure out things from the smaller amount of data. There is like this smart analytics, where you need less and less data to figure out what is the best way to grow your product in the digital market. But
Mm-hmm.
requiring the people to grow digitally without using data and without
Mm-hmm.
seeing, it's like imposing the rules in the world that everybody should wear the blind and do the
Mm-hmm.
business around the world. So when you are walking on the street and people are looking at you, you are
Mm-hmm.
not like talking about my look privacy. I mean, you
Right.
choose to walk on the street. You understand? So,
Right.
so I think in the world of digital, some things will leave the trace. And
Mm,
if you choose to go around the street, and a lot of people will choose just to cover completely or to basically drive in the car with the black windows, and then they will not leave the
right.
data traces and so on. But they will not enjoy the streets anyway. They will not see the food. They will not see anything.
Mm,
So that's how I see the digital world is just evolving in the direction that data will be visible to everybody,
mm.
and of course, not everything will be visible, but then there will be ways how to protect the data.
Okay. Okay. So now let's go a little bit about data analytics. Like sometimes people are asking which kind of softwares can be used for data analytics, and then uh, what kind of softwares would be good enough for them to use. For example, here for marketing, like do you have any specific like specifications for a good data analytics software or program or anything like that?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there is no software that I cannot say there is a company that is going to solve all your problems because they have a software
Okay.
of the specific. This is very hard to say. It depends of your team. Of course, you have to ask what they know to. They know Tableau or Power BI. If they want to do analytics, are they programmers in Python? Do they use some open AI platforms like Nine, like where you are visual modeling, or you are using external data from the companies that are providing you with the social network. Uh, the idea is actually, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a daily reports and then act on those daily reports, or you want to be proactive? So what I've shown, it's a being proactive. It's a modeling.
Right.
This is maybe because I come from the world of theoretical physicists that try to build a model to predict the world, and I think that's how today a lot of them work also on the markets, on the stock markets, and this is the way how I see analytics.
Okay.
Dashboards, they can be any. Tableau is perfect. I mean, Power BI is perfect. You can act on a daily, but this is acting on a daily. For me, it's not data analysis. Acting on a daily, it's more like having a notebook. You know,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
okay, if the red comes, press, you know, button one. If that
right.
this is not to, and then to make sure that everybody follows the rules. Then we are finishing in the army, and I at some part of life very early I was in the army, and we had
Oh,
in the rules of the book. There was the rules of the book. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
when this is like this, when it's raining, you wear these boots. When it's when you are going up the hill, you have to put the gun like this. So this was the PS and what time you are waking up, how you are cleaning, and then to make
Right.
sure that you need a general that is gonna and captain that is gonna make sure everybody is doing that if there is thousands and thousands of soldiers. So this is not a company for me. This is not the data analytics. This is army way of running. And maybe some company will choose that, but they really don't need analysis. And there is no point calling the company analytical or analysis if they are just having the book of rules and they are following the rules. So that's
Okay. Okay. So one final question then. Why do you think should companies use data analytics nowadays, especially now? Like right now, we're still in the pandemic era. So
mm,
how do you think that data analytics can really help companies in doing their marketing and doing their promotions and stuff like that?
yeah. I think there is a people are getting because of this pandemic and of everything.
Hmm.
People are getting tired of opinions. There is
Right.
so many opinions, and there is so many brainstormings and so many Zoom meetings where the people are talking without data, without
Right.
analytics, or like. So I think everybody is now a little bit slowing down with the talks. I noticed in the last half of year, people are tired of not finding the solution for this pandemic for so long time.
Right. Right.
And everybody was so loud, like that they didn't even let scientists talk. 99% of the people were talking. It's people with opinions.
Right.
And I
Right.
think now these people with opinions, they even got a corona in the meantime, probably, and prove that themselves wrong, and they're slowing down. It's not a
Mhm,
marketplace anymore,
mhm,
and that's what is happening also in a digital markets. It was a
right.
big opportunity, AI, and everybody ran out to talk without
Mhm,
ever actually building the prediction or data analysis in their life. They accepted to lead the big projects, they accepted to lead the big organizations, and they failed.
right.
Now there is a silence. And I
Mhm,
think now it's the time when people like Nikola Tesla or Einstein, somewhere, somewhere, they're sitting and working, and they will come up
mhm,
with something. And that's the time for analytics. It won't be big, but it will be very, very sophisticated, because
right.
I always say things should be simple, but they shouldn't be simpler. Actually, I'm quoting uh, I think Einstein or someone, but it doesn't matter. I always think that things will be perfect one day. I think we are going in a
Right.
good direction. And I think that
Mhm,
everybody is talking less without data, and data is becoming more and more important because there is no other alternative. If there is anything
right.
else, like uh, if the singing or dancing would solve the problem, everybody will sing and dance because it's easier. But
Right.
I think the last point that will solve everything is putting data together and slowly moving out of the little bit of circus of pandemic and everything. So
Mm,
yeah, I look forward for next couple of years of some kind of controlled, not controlled, but it's like thought through growth,
mm,
where it's be more and more data analytics and more.
right.
There is a lot of talented people now coming out of. As just for a finishing, I want to say that since I've been recruiting and working with young people for many years, a lot of teams and like being a mentor,
Mhm,
I'm surprised how skilled they are coming out of the universities nowadays.
mm,
Uh, that's especially for data analytics and so on. I think
mhm.
it's gonna be like in 10 years, if you don't do a data analysis, you are illiterate, so there will be like
Right. Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's, uh, it's you are trying to live in the world of data, and then you don't write, then basically
Mhm.
you are the object, you are not a
Right.
moving thing. So that's how I see
Right.
it. And the generations are coming out of the universities now with the mind of the statistician and mind of the data analytics person. So
Mm.
gonna be good.
Okay. Okay. So we're out of time actually. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for this very intriguing, I must say, knowledge about data analytics, and I hope that we hope that people would be more concerned about this subject, data analytics. And thank you very much for your insights,
Thanks.
Nicola.
Thank you.
Uh, mhm. So we hope that someday we can once again work with you in the future.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.